everyone. Happy lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. This is officially happening on November the 30th, and I'm really excited to share with you today all about these powerful energies. I have lots of really beautiful insights that have been flowing through as I study the charts surrounding this lunar eclipse, as I feel into the cosmic shifts that are taking place. So, welcome. Welcome. If you are new to me, my name is Kara. I'm an Akashic astrologer, so I love working with cosmic energy to help you elevate your life and your business as you connect into infinite intelligence. So, this full moon lunar eclipse that is happening on the 30th is kicking off eclipse season. So, eclipses are a time of major change and transformation, and this year really has been a time of change and a time of transformation. So, in that way, and because we have kind of been in the flow of like things changing and shifting in our world and in the collective energy, this eclipse season isn't going to hit as hard in that regards, because we have got a feel for what it means to be in the flow of change. And if we've really worked with the energies this year in the highest expression, we have come to appreciate and look at what we can control in our life, and to release and surrender those things that are just outside of our control. And digging even deeper than that has been this learning to be grounded and present in the moment where all of our power is, right? In this present moment. And regardless of what is happening in the world around us, when we become a master at cultivating that sense of safety and security within us, as we connect to our core energy, as we stay connected to infinite intelligence, then we are not as influenced and affected by the changes in the external world. Or even deeper than that, we are able to respond to the changes in a way that is in our highest and best good, instead of simply being triggered by them. So yes, this eclipse season that we're moving into is going to be a change and transformation, but specifically this lunar eclipse, I feel, is finishing off a cycle for many people. And also globally, we are completing a cycle and we are moving into something new. It's also paving the way for the great conjunction that we are going to have on the solstice, December 21st, between Saturn and Jupiter as they join together in the sign of Aquarius. And that really marks the beginning of a new age, a new paradigm that many of us have been feeling. We're already feeling that. And this eclipse is really inviting us to look at the role we play in this transformation, not only in our own life, but for the collective, how we are showing up, and our role during this time of change and transition as we all figure out what this new paradigm looks like. So say hi if you are joining me. Good morning, Alicia. It's so great to have you here. Adriana, it's so good to have you. Welcome. And Teresa and Nita, amazing. So share with me below your full moon intentions. What are you choosing to release and let go of around this full moon? If someone could also let me know that the reception is okay out here. I actually had to join the hotspot on my phone because the Wi-Fi, for whatever reason, just wasn't picking up in this area. So I joined the hotspot on my phone, so that should be okay. But if someone could just let me know that the reception is nice and clear. Jacqueline, how are you? Was so excited to hear you speak about this. Yes. Hi, Erica. How are you? There's so many beautiful energies that are coming in. So again, eclipses are that time of change and transformation. This lunar eclipse, so lunar eclipses mean it's a full moon as well. So there is this releasing, there's a letting go of what isn't serving us, and there's a completion of a cycle that's taking place. And then in December, we're going to have the new moon solar eclipse, which is really opening up that new beginning for us. So I really feel the energy around this has a lot to do with integration as well. So in order for us to move forward in our life, into a new chapter, there has to be a level of integration that takes place. And this full moon lunar eclipse on the 30th is going to be a lot about that integration, integrating the lessons you have learned during this past year, which has been so powerful, the new wisdom and insights you have gained about what you value, what matters most to you, your role in this world, what you want to contribute, integrating all of that as you close off a chapter and get ready to go into a new one. And again, this is not just in your own life. We are seeing this collectively. We are stepping into a new paradigm. So this is big for everyone. So now I want to backtrack a little bit. So that gives you an idea of the bigger picture of what we are stepping into, what we are leading up to throughout eclipse season, throughout this coming solstice on the 21st. But let's bring it back a little bit to the eclipse on the 30th. So this is happening in the sign of Gemini. And Gemini energy, this archetype of Gemini, is all about knowledge and communication and socialization. And it also is represented by the twins. So it really embodies this aspect of dualism. And we're really looking within ourselves at those different aspects of ourselves. So the shadow and the light, integrating that. And here on planet Earth at this time, it is still very dualistic, right? It's like it's been ingrained in a lot of our minds since we were young, right? Good versus evil, right versus wrong, the shadow versus the light. And Gemini really embodies both of those and brings them together and asks us and invites us to embrace those different aspects of who we are. Even, in this world as well, like Abraham Hicks, one of my all-time favorite spiritual teachers, talks about that dualism that's always at play as we navigate life. When we know what we don't want, we know what we do want. There's that dualism there, right? So that's really coming to the forefront around this eclipse. And another thing that's really coming up so strongly, and it was the title of this video, Curiosity over Judgment. This is so huge. So Gemini embodies that innocence of a child in the sense of being curious, asking questions, instead of immediately defaulting to judgments. And with all of the changes and shifts that are unfolding, it can be easy to look out into the world and judge what is happening, or judge someone else's opinion, or we have these judgments within ourselves as well. But this energy is inviting us to look at that. And instead of judging other people or judging what is happening, there's so much growth when we become curious about it instead. So as soon as we form a judgment, our energy becomes very contractive and we stay locked in to our belief system and our way of navigating the world. But when we can look with this curious mind at what our triggers are, what triggers us, and we learn from that and we grow from that, there's so much expansion that takes place in our life when we are able to let go of the judgment and instead be curious. Be curious, be open, right? And asking those questions. Now, I'm not saying that we don't form beliefs and we don't have our own opinions. That's actually the opposite energy of Gemini. That's Sagittarius. That's where we form our belief, we get more certain on our path, and we move forward with it. But the energy I'm talking about here is simply becoming aware of what those triggers are. Who triggers you? What beliefs trigger you? And how can you dig a little bit deeper? Because when we become curious about those things, it opens up room for healing to occur. We may find, usually if something's triggering us, there's a wound there. There's something we need to look at that wants to be healed. Or perhaps there's something we're called to speak out on. It's a topic we're passionate about. And when we hear somebody voicing an opinion that goes against what we know to be true in our heart, we get triggered by it. But we want to get away from that knee-jerk, immediate emotional reaction and instead step back and ask, how do I want to respond to this? What is the response that is in the highest and best good? And when we do that, we step back into our power. So let me know if this is resonating. I want to take a moment here just to check in on these beautiful comments. Hello, Petya. How are you? Feeling all these energies so deeply? Well, yes, you are a Gemini. I was just going to ask if you're a Gemini, and then I saw your comment coming up. Nita also needed this today. Yes, I know. We're all feeling it, right? This is an intense time, but we are prepared for it. So, again, going into eclipse season, eclipses bring change, they bring transformation. And I'm not saying that's not going to happen or that we're not in for some more transformation before 2020 is done, because we are. We have a powerful month ahead of us, but we are so prepared for it. We are prepared, and I want you to really feel that. You are prepared for the changes and transformations that are coming globally and that are appearing in your world. And again, how we really feel that is we get nice and grounded to our core and also connected into infinite intelligence, into our higher self, and we cultivate this deep sense of trust and surrender to the flow of life. Petya, Abraham Hicks helps me start my days. Oh, me too. Every morning I'll like get up and I'll listen to her as I'm getting ready for the day, and it just really gets my mindset and energy in a good space. Nancy, welcome. Lorena, so good to have you here. Nancy, animals not being respected properly. Yes. Oh, I hear you, Nancy. Yeah, I'm a huge like animal activist and huge just animal lover. So I hear you. That's something for me. And honestly, again, these things that trigger us, right? There's learning to take place there. And we're really with this shift, so this grand conjunction that's happening on the 21st of Saturn and Jupiter moving into the sign of Aquarius. This again, that's marking a new era. That's marking a new paradigm, like a new earth we are stepping into. We're going to see more activists stepping up. We're going to see a focus on social justice issues. And in the meantime, it can feel a little bit chaotic because this energy is ultimately it is about leading to greater unity and peace and coming together, but in the meantime it can look a little bit like division because we're challenging what's no longer working in our society in order to step into something greater. So it can feel chaotic in the process, and I think it's so important that we're using our voice, we're speaking our truth. Gemini is all about that. It's the throat chakra, sharing our message in the world. But if we are just responding with judgment to what is happening in the world, then we are not grounded in our power, and we can't respond in a way that actually brings about change or is constructive. And Gemini energy, it's good at detaching from emotion and instead looking at the data, looking at the facts, and having that space. And I'm not against emotion by any means. I'm a Cancer sun. I also have my Venus and Mercury in Cancer. So trust me, like I navigate the world through feeling. I'm always like, I feel this, I feel that. Like I feel things so, so deeply. And I know the value of our emotion. And I also know how it can really get in the way if we are just responding based on our emotion. We want to dig a little bit deeper than that and respond based on our soul. Where is our soul guiding us? What's that pull that goes deeper than an initial emotional response? So also with this Gemini energy, speaking about like our thoughts and our communication, our way of interacting with the world, it's also looking at what is really motivating the choices we are making. This lunar eclipse is about the choices we are faced with in our life, and the choices we are choosing to make right now are so key, right? Those decisions we make on a day-to-day basis, how we choose to show up, what we choose to speak about and share in the world. And is that coming from the space of fear, or is it coming from a space of love and being connected to our heart and our soul and where we are being pulled, where we are being guided, and looking at that? Because not only is this full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini, but we have the North Node in Gemini right now. And the North Node points to our collective purpose, our collective path that we are being guided on. So there really is this focus we're going to continue to see around being able to not have these emotional triggers and to take that step back, take a deep breath, and ask how we actually want to respond and be curious about it. And we're doing that again, we're doing that collectively. So the north node really is so key in astrology. It is that direction we are pulled, that direction we are being called. When people say follow your north star in astrology, that can be like the north node, the path you are on. And if you know your birth chart and you know the placement of your north node, you gain so much insight into your life path and soul purpose. And I actually have, as a holiday special, I'm offering one of my astrology courses, Explore Your Divine Blueprint with the Power of Astrology. It's being offered right now for 222. So it's 50% off if you are curious about learning more about your chart, your unique energies, where that north node is for you. I go into that in this course. It's so much deeper than just knowing your zodiac sign. You actually learn your birth chart, your divine soul blueprint, and you learn how to lean into your north star, your north node, because when you do that, everything falls into place for you in life with much greater ease. It doesn't mean you don't have challenges or struggles or obstacles that you have to overcome, but it's this deep sense that you are on the right path for you. You are on the path your soul chose when you incarnated into this planet. So it feels really good. So if you want details on that course, if you want to grab that, send me a message. I will send you the link and you can dive into your birth chart right away. And it will also give you a deeper understanding of where these major cosmic shifts that are taking place at the end of this year and into 2021, where they are happening for you, what's being activated in your life, and how you can really work with that in the highest expression to support you in reaching your goals. But again, it's so much bigger than that. When we look at the changes that are unfolding, it's not just about us reaching the goals we want in our life, although that's a part of it. It's the bigger picture as well of what your soul is here to contribute on the planet at this time, and how you're contributing to this new paradigm, this new earth that is opening up. Nancy, learning your chart with Carol will be life work you will understand. Would love to just jump in and do some again. Beautiful, Nancy. Yeah, get that, everyone. It's amazing. Thank you, Petra. It really is a game changer. And that's one thing I'm passionate about with understanding cosmic intelligence, is going so much deeper than we have for so long with astrology, and just focusing on our zodiac signs and understanding like it's actually so much bigger than that. When we connect to our divine soul blueprint, we know, and we gain clarity on our path and our purpose, where we are called to do healing work, our career path that we are here to follow. It helps bring everything together and helps us gain a deep understanding of ourselves, which therefore improves every relationship in our life as well. So collectively this year with the North Node in Gemini, this is an ongoing lesson we are feeling into approaching life with this curiosity instead of that judgment. So I really invite you in these energies to look at where you are responding in your life with judgment. Who are you holding a judgment toward in your life? What behaviors and what action? And how can you let that go? The full moon's about releasing. When you release that weight of judgment, you create a spaciousness within you that helps you feel empowered. And even looking at as well where you're holding judgments toward yourself, and allow this full moon energy to help you transform that, to help you release that. Big part of this lunar eclipse energy. So another thing I'm seeing really coming into focus with this full moon, but also just has been ongoing with the North Node in the sign of Gemini, is this topic of socialization. And this year, of course, with all the changes, we've been more, confined to our home, and a lot of people on social media. And there's been a lot of, I think, really good discussions around the role of social media in our life. And Gemini also governs technology as well. So we're really seeing that at the full moon. And even as business owners, the role that we play and how we use our platform. How are we showing up and using our voice? And, just a lot of people looking at how they're using social media in their life, in their business, really questioning the morals around that. And this discussion is going to continue into 2021 as well, even in a bigger way, with the Aquarian energy and the focus on air signs that are coming in, which is about how we relate and interact with one another. So it's been really interesting to see kind of that come into focus around this new moon energy as well. So another shift that we see with the Gemini energy is all about this appreciation of where we are in this moment, it's about community and local travel. And again, we've kind of been forced into this a little bit this year where we haven't maybe been able to do a lot of that traveling and adventuring. And we've been really spending more time with our families, spending more time in our home. And learning to appreciate that, right? Having that deep sense of appreciation. And the opposite of Gemini is the Sagittarian energy. And it can be that energy of always looking for the next adventure, or that belief that the grass is greener on the other side. So when I get there, then I will feel happy. Whatever that there is for you, right? It could be once I make 6 figures in my business, I'll be happy. Once I'm able to find the perfect home, I'll be happy. We have all these expectations, and this Gemini energy is about, wait a sec, just bring this all back. Can you find that happiness and sense of peace in this moment? And just as a little side note too, with everybody, being at home, we've been, I think, making changes to our home environment as well. I know I've been doing renovations in my home and ordering some new furniture and new things. And there's been like such a delay in having things come in, and so many, people have said like everybody's changing their home around, they're doing renovations, they're making all these changes. And it's interesting because that's part of that kind of Gemini energy of being at home as well. And also, like, I love being surrounded by beautiful things. I'm a Cancer Taurus, I'm kind of a homebody anyway. The two signs of the zodiac that are the homebodies are like my moon and my sun sign, so I'm all about that. But also with this energy, we see the value, like beginning to value spiritual knowledge and spiritual wisdom, and how investing in those things is actually of the highest value in our life. And again, I'm all for beautiful things, creating beautiful spaces, beautiful environments. I love that. But over that, I value investing my time, my money, my energy into my spiritual growth. Gemini, again, it's about information, it's about knowledge. And when we gain knowledge and wisdom, we change not only our life on a deep core level, we begin to change the world. We change how we show up. So really, this lunar eclipse is placing a spotlight on that as well. What are you investing your time and energy in? And are you seeing the value in investing in spiritual evolution, spiritual growth, personal growth, emotional intelligence, being the best person you can be? And that's a big shift that's happening in the collective right now, where we're looking at, for so long we felt, people feel okay spending on material possessions, but when it comes to spending on, that personal growth and development or spirituality, there can be that hesitancy. Probably not with anyone here, but we're seeing that collectively. And I love that shift because I feel that's part of the rise as well, with healers and light workers really sharing their knowledge and wisdom and expanding their business, as we are waking up collectively to the importance of having this information in our life and investing our time and money in those areas, which just the payoff is incredible, right? When we invest in ourselves and our growth and our evolution, not only for ourselves, but for the planet. All right, how's everybody feeling with this? Let me know if you have questions. If you're just jumping in now, feel free to share what you're releasing, what you're letting go of in this full moon energy. Remember, we are closing a chapter. We are integrating a lot of the lessons that have come about this year, and we're ready for a new beginning that we're really going to be stepping into on the solstice on the 21st. It's a new paradigm, so we're building up to that in a big way. Nancy, I've been repairing so many bits and pieces that I put off. Yeah, right? So many people doing that. My foot fell asleep. I'm just seated on the ground. I'm like, oh my God, my foot went like completely numb. Jessica, woohoo, air signs. Ew, Jessica, yes, it's your time, right? We have a huge focus on air signs, and air signs in astrology govern knowledge and learning and wisdom and communication. So that's where we're really seeing that shift in investing in spiritual knowledge and wisdom, right? Investing not only in terms of our money, but that's part of it, but again, our time, our energy, and what we are valuing. And again, we're really going to be putting that spotlight on communication, how we are communicating. So the ruler of this full moon is Mercury, the planet of communication, of knowledge, and of learning. And right now, Mercury is in the sign of Scorpio. Now, shortly after this full moon, it is going to move into Sagittarius, but at the full moon, so the signature we're kind of locking in with this eclipse, it's in the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio, if you've ever done a reading with me and you know when I see Scorpio energy, I'm like, that's the detective of the zodiac. And Mercury in the sign of Scorpio is like that detective, and we can be really insightful in our life around what our belief system is, what that core subconscious programming that's playing in our life is. And it connects us back to the power of our intuition, the power of our instinctual nature. And the feel I get with this full moon is we are faced with decisions. A lot of us are faced with major decisions right now, and we're looking at what path we want to go, what path we want to follow. And Mercury in Scorpio reminds us to trust our intuition, to trust our instincts. Your intuition has access to so much information that you may not be able to consciously recall moment to moment. It's, there's different ways to kind of see and work with intuition, but one of them is like our intuition is connected to our subconscious. So you have so much knowledge and information and wisdom you have gained throughout this lifetime, not to mention like previous lifetimes. We can tap into that knowledge and wisdom as well in the space of the Akashic records, but so much wisdom you have gained this life. Has anyone here seen the movie Limitless? It's an older movie, Limitless. It's actually, and I'm so picky with movies, it's one of my favorites. I've watched it a couple of times, but the reason, it was like a random sidetrack, but the reason it's kind of coming in right now is this, the basis of this movie is it's this guy discovers this pill that when he takes it, he recalls everything he's ever learned in his entire life. And he transforms his life from like feeling like he's just like at home, failing behind, just not happy, to suddenly like building this incredible empire and being on top of things by being able to recall like every bit of information and piece of knowledge he's ever learned. And I just find that concept fascinating, because imagine like if we could recall and remember like everything we've ever learned. Isn't it a good movie, Nancy? I love it. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but it just like it came to me, which makes sense talking about this topic, right? Sort of. But if we can like recall everything we've ever learned, wow, like imagine. And our intuition actually is enabling us in so many ways to be able to do that, connected to our subconscious. So much wisdom and knowledge that we may not consciously be aware of in any given moment. So when you feel that intuitive pull towards something, don't deny that. There's information you are tapping into that you may not logically understand in that moment. There's so much power to our intuition. Hey, Emily, how are you? Happy full moon. So really, valuing that. And then you can take into intuition even deeper, like it is connected to our subconscious, so there's so much information we are accessing, but I believe it's also connected to the wisdom of our soul, and that our soul is connected to source energy, infinite intelligence. So when we're tapping into that, there's so much we can channel that's actually in alignment to our soul path, our purpose, our highest and best good. So trusting your intuition isn't something that should be written off or taken lightly. That's actually something that leads you to the highest and best good for you, that leads you to new opportunities. So at this full moon, when you're faced, and probably now in your life too, is the energy I'm feeling, you're faced with these big decisions. Go inward. Where is your intuition calling you? What is that intuitive pull? And have the courage to say yes to it. It takes faith, it takes courage, but the more you lean into it, and my hope is even how I've explained it, Nancy Bradley Cooper always looks, yes, yeah, that doesn't hurt, right? He looks great in that movie. So the more we lean in and trust our intuition, the more we are actually guided on our soul path. So fully trust that. And it also becomes easier with time, right? We like, the more we practice, like anything, the easier that it becomes. And I'm not saying disregard our logic or our intellect. Again, this Gemini energy is teaching us how we work with our mind in the highest capacity. So, not allowing our mind to control us, but being aware of the thoughts that come in, being aware of those triggers, and then taking a step back, taking a deep breath, and asking how we want to respond, where our soul is calling us to respond, and going in that direction, right? Work with your mind. Don't allow your mind to control you. Our thoughts come and go. Our thoughts are not absolute truths. We get to choose the thoughts that we take on, the beliefs that we embody. And this full moon being that kind of energetic reset as well, and that closing off of a chapter. And with Mercury and Scorpio, we're like the detectives of the zodiac right now. We can really take a look at where we have been functioning from, what programming has been at play, and we can choose again. We can make a new choice. So how exciting is this? I'm just loving the energy around this eclipse. If you're just jumping in, feel free to share what you are releasing and letting go of in this powerful full moon energy. And I'd love to hear as well just how you're feeling with these big cosmic shifts that are at play right now and have been throughout this year and really coming to a head at the end of this year. But we, again, like the main message I want you to hear is we are fully prepared for it. We are prepared for these changes that are going to be unfolding. So another thing I want to say about this energy, we were talking about Mercury in the sign of Scorpio, the power of trusting that instinctual nature, following your intuition. It is flowing in harmony with Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn. This is like a powerhouse group of planets that have been behind much of the transformation we have been experiencing this year. It's been behind the breakdown of the old to prepare us for this new paradigm we are stepping into. And Mercury is flowing in harmony with them at this full moon. So we really can look back at this past year, the things we have been working toward, and see how they're finally coming together. See how all of the pieces are coming together. Have a deeper understanding how maybe a part of us felt like things weren't working out or we were off track, and we now realize I'm exactly where I was meant to be. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Things are working out better than I could have planned or expected. And that's what happens when we surrender to the universe and we surrender to the flow of life. We align with infinite intelligence. And that's aligned to our highest and best good on our soul path. And sometimes our ego rebels against that because we have a story in our mind of how we want things to go, how we want things to look. But if we can put that aside and trust that the universe has a greater plan and your intuition, your soul is leading you to what that looks like moment by moment, our entire life begins to shift in beautiful ways. All right, so how is this feeling? Say hi if you are just jumping in now. I want to again share with you if you're just like loving this energy or loving my astrology videos. As part of my holiday special, I do have my astrology program on for 222, so super affordable. It's on for 50% off right now, and it will show you how to read your birth chart, which is your unique energetic blueprint. And it'll help you work with that energy, channel that energy to manifest your best life, to manifest your dream life, the life your soul actually came here to live, the highest possibilities for your life, because you're working with your blueprint. You're working with your natural energies, your sacred gifts. You're aligning to your soul path. It's in your birth chart. It really is such a game changer. So message me if you want to get in on that. Also, for my holiday specials, I have some of my favorite Akashic journeys that are on special. So there's a beautiful one for spiritual entrepreneurs that will help you expand your business by working in the realm of the Akashic records, and then grounding that in with some really practical strategies for calling in soulmate clients, for getting clarity around your message and your purpose. And it's a beautiful course, and also just clearing through any blocks or fears that could be in your way. So message me if you want in on these holiday specials. Thank you for sharing this time in this space with me today, learning about this full moon energy. The main takeaways I would say, again, going back to opening up to the power of curiosity in your life over judgment, which Gemini energy teaches us. Be curious, ask questions, be willing to examine your beliefs, your mindset, your way of seeing the world. And when you do that, things shift. Every aspect of your life will shift in beautiful ways when you can let go of that weight of judgment and be open to seeing things in a new light. Be open to seeing things in a new way. Also, really carve out the time. This is happening on November 30th. You can take time a day after, before, even a day or two after. Don't worry if you miss the exact day. Take time to go within and really reflect on the lessons you have learned this year. Like, my guess is you are not the same person today as you were coming into this year. Maybe it looks entirely different. For so many people, we have experienced quantum expansion this year. Like, you're in a completely different space. You're completely different person, maybe completely different identity you're playing in many different ways. Take time to integrate those lessons, that wisdom, and get clear on the chapter that is now opening up for you. All right, if you're on the replay, I want to hear from you as well. I want to hear your takeaways. I'll be checking back in. If you got value from this video, feel free to share it out so we can help other people just get a sense of what's happening in the world right now, get a sense of this cosmic energy, how to work with this full moon in the highest and best potential to create the changes they want to see in their life, but also to contribute to the global shifts that are happening right now. You are so welcome, Lorena. Natasha, miss some, will wash soon. Yes, I'm just finishing up and this will stay on my page. So I'm sending so much love and light to you all. Enjoy this beautiful full moon energy. Message me about my holiday specials if you want to learn more. And I